I can tell him the one thing the other companies can't compete with. Our basketball division is terrible.
I do not love it.
Welcome into another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. I'm with my good friend Ahmed once again. Great weekend for us, Ahmed. We had a lot of great things to watch between the Super Mario Brothers and the movie we're going to talk about today, which is Air, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Matt Damon and a whole bunch of other A-list actors. I really dug this movie a lot. I did have some problems with them, but before I get into my thoughts, I want to go over to you and see what you thought of this movie.
So for our first time listeners, viewers, hopefully viewers, because we need our YouTube numbers, so subscribe before you finish this video.
Yes.
I'm not a sports guy, so my view on this movie is going to be biased because I didn't really pay attention to Michael Jordan's career and things like that, but I know what a big figure he is. I did like the movie, but there were probably some references that I probably didn't understand. From a cinematic perspective, I liked it, but it's not one of those movies that I would watch again. But I would recommend it, especially for people that really enjoy Michael Jordan, people that are big fans of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Of course, they got to check it out.
Yeah, so this is going to be a good contrast, this review, because I am really into basketball and sports and everything like that. And I love Michael Jordan. I think I got my first pair of Air Jordans when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Like whenever Space Jam came out, I got them. And then during the pandemic, when we could do nothing but online shop, I ordered several pairs of Jordans. So I love Michael Jordan, and I really like seeing the story of how his signature shoe came to be. I do think that this is a very paint by numbers story. Like, I don't even think it's the best sports movie of the year. I still think Creed 3 is probably going to take that crown when things are said and done. But the talent involved in this movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, you have Chris Messina, who's great in this movie, and Chris Tucker. You can't really say that this is a bad movie. I do think it sort of felt kind of at a time where this felt like a movie that maybe would have come out in like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. This is not to say that the movie didn't make you feel like it was in the 80s, because right off the bat it says 1984, and even the soundtrack, it makes you feel like this is the 80s. I think if it was made in the early 2000s, it would have been way better received in box office. But compared to movies like Creed 3 and Super Mario Brothers, I just don't see how it stacks up. Like how like it's going to be one of those movies, sadly, that's probably going to get like swept under the rug compared to all these other movies.
Yeah, like I don't think that this is like a movie we're going to be talking about when the Oscars, like
Yeah,
when that comes. I just don't think it's that caliber. But this is like the ultimate dad movie, is what it is. It's like, hey, I'm going to take my kids to see this on a Sunday afternoon, which is kind of what I saw in my viewing, where it was a lot of dads taking their kids, and the kids paid attention. Kind of, a lot of them were on TikTok the entire time. But this is a movie for a kind of different demographic, I would say, and it does a great job of really bringing you into the story. And the story is very straightforward. You have Matt Damon's character in real life, guy Sonny, searching for the first, really great athlete to sign with Nike, because Nike was in third place once upon a time when it came to basketball and their basketball division. And the way that he kind of weeded out Michael Jordan from the rest of the players they were looking at, I thought was a really great addition to this movie. And that brings you to one of the best parts of the movie, which is Viola Davis as Michael Jordan's mom.
yeah, she stole the show. Um, Viola Davis, can we just talk about how she can play any type of role? I mean, she played Michelle Obama, and I was like, isn't she a little bit old to be playing Michelle Obama? And no, she's actually younger than Michelle Obama, which is a testament to what kind of skill that Viola Davis can have, because she can play an older character or she can play a younger character. She can just, she's just like a, she's so elusive as an actress, and that's so rare. That's such a rare quality. I wish she would have won an Oscar this year, but hopefully next year, if if the movie doesn't win an Oscar, maybe let her get, some sort
Yeah.
of award for this.
Like, I do think, like, if there is going to be any Oscars coming out of this, I do think it would be her for like a best supporting actress, because she is very good in it. Like I said, the supporting cast is great. I really did like Chris Messina as Michael Jordan's agent, and he's just dropping like 35 F-bombs a minute. And he's like, I'm going to sell my company for $100 million one day, and I'm not going to have any friends, and I don't care. And I thought he was super funny. Jason Bateman really just was kind of doing his Arrested Development thing, where it's like, hey, I mean, I couldn't separate him from Michael Bluth in this, but I like Ben Affleck as the CEO of Nike, and yeah,
I
no
like
bad performances.
Yeah, I think Chris Tucker's performance surprised me the most because Chris Tucker is always the wisecracking, loud character. In this one, he was really like kind of humbled, if you will, very like soft spoken. He made me believe that he was a different character, and that's because he was playing a real life person. You can't kind of make Chris Tucker play this other person as Chris Tucker, if that makes sense. And so it was just awesome to see that Chris Tucker can act. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all. It's just he's always been typecast to play the wisecracking guy. So it's cool to see him like show his layers as an actor. And going back, Jeff, to what you said about, the movie and how like it kind of just zeroes in on this shoe. I thought the movie did an excellent job by zeroing in on that message. At no point does it kind of defer away from that. It's clearly about the shoe and how the shoe is supposed to be, like Michael Jordan is supposed to be the guy that makes the shoe so powerful and essentially is what saves the company and puts them on the map. And I know a lot of people love Jordans. I could never afford one. I still probably couldn't afford one. And I make damn good money. Not that good money, but I make good money.
I probably shouldn't be buying them, but I have them. So I wear them on special occasions. And, the shoe is kind of like, yeah, like you said, it's like a character within itself. But let's get into our favorite characters, Ahmed. Who would you say stood out the most to you in this movie?
I got to give it to Chris Tucker again, just because he was the one that surprised me the most as Howard White. Um, he was the kind of person that like was real down to earth, but at the same time, he was the dose of reality. He was like, "Look, I don't think a lot of the things that because Michael Jordan was a rookie player, and a lot of people didn't really see him at that point in time the way everyone does now as the GOAT, as the, as the even now as the greatest living player of all time, despite whatever kind of controversy he may have had in the past, people still respect him. And in this movie, they're like, I don't really see how. I don't see it, but you see it. I guess we have to trust you. And this was really a huge, huge gamble. And if it didn't work out, it wasn't going to work out. Like it was going to be the end all be all. But Chris Tucker was very like, hey, I got a 1 bedroom apartment, so I can't really help you.
Yeah, I loved him and how he's like, hey, Adidas has those track suits. and I love those tracksuits. I got some
I wear.
knockoffs that I wear.
You want some knockoffs?
Yeah, like that was hilarious. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Michael Jordan's parents. I think them as a duo was just really strong, and Viola Davis in particular, where it's like, hey, she runs the household, and then Sonny shows up in North Carolina, and Jordan's dad is like, "You're gonna go have to talk to the boss." Like he doesn't
Yeah,
even bother to go to that meeting. I really did like that. One character that, like, one character choice did bother me, and this is where my few of my nitpicks come in. Is Ben Affleck as a director made the choice to not show Michael Jordan's face in this movie, and I see what they were doing where they're like, hey, this is a larger than life character. You can't really have anybody kind of fill his shoes. I just felt it just kind of took me out of the moment in some of those scenes, like especially at the end when he's at the Nike headquarters and they're kind of just obscuring his face. It's just I kind of wish they would have cast an actual actor as Michael Jordan.
it definitely seemed forced. Like I get what you're saying. On the one hand, I I'm glad they didn't include him because I think it would have taken away from the entire story. Because let's face it, the Air Jordan shoe is supposed to be the main character, the MacGuffin, that treasure that we are supposed to see. But by kind of having this mysterious shadow as Michael Jordan, who has maybe like two lines in the movie, it's kind of like what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
and yeah, you just feel bad for the actor because he was probably a struggling guy who really wanted to get his foot in the door, and now, well, will they really know him?
yeah, it's like, hey, your cast is Michael Jordan, but
Prove
you're
it.
not, you're not going to be credited. But it's you, and you'll know, and your mom will know. But yeah, that was one of my nitpicks. I did think the movie went on slightly too long. Like, I think the end, you know, Jordan gets the deal. You have the phone call between Viola Davis and Matt Damon, and then the movie goes for like another 10 minutes, just kind of wrapping up everybody's story. It felt very kind of TV movie ish at that point.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they would have ended maybe right after that phone call, and I think it would have been perfect.
Hell, I would have liked it if they would have ended, after that amazing speech in the conference room.
Yeah,
Um, like that would have been great to end on, like a 5 minutes later kind of thing. But it felt so dragged out after that. Like, okay, he did this great speech. Now he's gonna wait. He didn't get the deal. Ugh. And then another, he still didn't get the deal. Oh, now she wants to negotiate. Oh, I'm like, when will this movie end?
yeah,
How I felt. I'm like, oh my god, when is this fucking movie gonna end? I was
yeah.
looking at the clock, and it's only 2 hours long.
Yeah, just like him jogging, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's funny. They set that up earlier in the movie, whatever. But that does lead us to scenes, Ahmed. There are some great scenes in here, and I think you mentioned mine, which is that speech at the end with Matt Damon, Sonny just cutting the crap and is like, hey, you're gonna be an icon, but you're also gonna fail, and you're gonna have to get up, and that's how you respond. That's my favorite scene of this movie. I don't know about you.
The flashbacks as well. Yeah, that was definitely the best of it. Um, for the sake of being different, I'll go in a completely different direction. Marlon Wayans had a very small appearance as a coach who we end up finding out in kind of like the little tag outs at the very end that he was instrumental in helping Michael Jordan. And yet we only see him for like 5 minutes, but he talks about how he trusted his gut and ended up with Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. You're like, whoa, you just took me through all this. And then he says, so do you think I should do it? He says, hell no.
Yeah.
Like he told him this really inspiring story about how he trusted his instinct. He's like, so should I trust mine? No, but you know what I mean? You're not me and I'm not you, so do whatever you want.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I really love seeing Marlon Wayans in movies like this, and yeah, that's a crazy tidbit. Just the real story of that, where the real guy was offered $2 million for the "I Have a Dream" speech, and he decided to keep it. So there is some pretty cool history that goes on with this movie. Speaking of history, we got to record our grades for this movie, Ahmed. What would you put it on our scale?
I'll give it a starter, and that's with an asterisk because again, I'm not a sports guy, so it didn't really appeal to me that much. I am glad I watched it, despite me just earlier complaining about the runtime. But I would recommend it to all my sports friends. I would encourage the guys to watch it as well if they get a chance. But yeah, I'll stick with a starter.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I think that had it been a different cast of actors, like maybe some lesser known guys, I don't think it would be as well received or not as memorable as it was. But with the cast involved and the talent behind it, I do think that it elevates it a little bit. It is a very good watch. Despite its problems, pretty solid biographical story on the big screen. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna put it. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I just want to commend, the originality behind the story. I mean, you know, there are so many different directions, different story ideas coming out, and with sequels and reboots coming out, it was nice to see some original storytelling in such a unique way. I just wish that I could have, you know, offered more insight to it. But Ben Affleck, keep making movies. Matt Damon, keep doing your thing, and everyone as well. Viola Davis, get your award.
Yes. Let's put Viola Davis in every movie for now on. That's what I say.
Put her
I
in the
love
Marvel
her.
movies. Do her a favor, okay?
Yeah, do it.
Quit wasting your time at DC. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm not kidding.
Maybe just a little, but we'll
Maybe
find
just
out.
a little.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna be back with some more episodes here in the future. I am Jeff. He's Ahmed. It's been another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon.